How realistic is Gran Turismo 7? Is it actually the real driving simulator? If you drive in Gran Turismo, could you actually drive the same car on the same track in real life? Well, I've decided to put this to the ultimate test. I have bought a car that is a car that exists in Gran Turismo 7, and I've taken it to the track that also exists in Gran Turismo 7. In this video, I'm going to answer for you some very important questions. Obviously, is Gran Turismo 7 realistic? But also, if you're a fast driver in GT7, will you be a fast driver in real life? What's missing from Gran Turismo 7 compared to what's driving in real life? And ultimately, if you enjoy Gran Turismo 7, would you actually enjoy doing the same thing in real life? Because to be honest, I think a lot of us forget just how experienced we are in games like Gran Turismo 7. Many people watching will have done tens, hundreds, maybe thousands of laps at circuits like Brands Hatch. So what I did to start with what I hope will be an interesting comparison, actually show some negatives, some interesting negatives here, is do a lap in Gran Turismo 7 basically from cold at Brands Hatch in the Peugeot RCZ. So this is me in GT7. I'm using a H-pattern shifter, and I'm also right foot braking. And I would say right foot braking is really important if you want to practice or use GT7 as an actual simulator practice tool for real life. Driving road cars, do right foot braking, because that's what I'm going to be doing when I drive this car at the circuit in real life. Now, I said it's going to expose some negatives. The first thing is, off the bat, I'm already driving this car really hard. I'm attacking curbs, I'm putting loads of strain on the tyres, I'm revving the car out, I'm going all over the geoblock here, maximising track limits, and that just isn't really something you do off the bat in real life. In real life, you're much more aware that you're in a real car. It's, you know, that things can happen if you miss your braking zone or whatever, so you tend to warm the car up properly and warm yourself up properly. Remember, in real life, you will have arrived at this circuit, unless you happen to live next door, you will have driven there and there'll be anticipation and you've gone through a briefing, and a lot of like excitement and enjoyment and maybe nerves build. In the sim, you don't have that. So I've just come out here and done a 59-second lap out of the box. So that's quite a nice benchmark, like just under a minute basically. And obviously the really interesting question is, well, what do I do in real life? So here's a lap in real life in the same car. And we're saying that the car I have actually is like the GT Line version. So I think that's slightly more horsepower than one in the game even. But when you come into a corner like this at Brands Hatch, you do not feel this in Gran Turismo 7. You don't feel the compression there. And I'm going to talk about that compression later in the video, because it's even more than what you feel is actually what's going on with the car that doesn't feel like it's simulated in GT7, or at least doesn't feel like you take notice of it. But you'll see my lines here. I'm going out to the right side of the track on the white line. I'm trying to clip the curb here. You might just hear it. I'm running over the curb a little bit on the right side, but I'm not being as aggressive as I am in the sim. And that's something that maybe is obvious, but we need to talk about it. In the sim, you're just going to take more risks. There's a McLaren ahead of me here. I don't want to have a very expensive accident with a McLaren, so I'm taking it a little bit more cautious maybe through this last corner. I can also really feel the camber, and that's something you just don't get in GT7. Like, until motion is natively supported in Gran Turismo, and maybe that will happen with MOZA's new motion sim, you're not going to feel those kind of camber changes. Now, I wanted to talk about the compression here. As I'm following this McLaren, we both missed the apex by 1 billion miles. Look, and he's in a rear-wheel drive car, I'm in a front-wheel drive car. You cannot really turn the car when you're in that compression. If you imagine, as soon as you go down there, there's so much load on that front left tyre, like it's all the way compressed on the suspension, you actually can't really turn anymore. So as weird as it sounds, I probably wasn't that far off a little bit of an accident there, because I wouldn't be able to save it. Now, you just don't, in my opinion, you just don't notice that at all in Gran Turismo 7. Like, if it's faster, you don't care if you're like on the limit of what will be breaking the car. And part of the reason for that is, in real life, you have to do things because you can't, there's no skip button. It's not just no reset button if you crash. There's no skip button. I have to bring the car back now. I have to bring it into the garage. I need to park it up. I need to avoid all the other cars coming in. And again, this is a nice place for me to reflect and to think about my driving that you don't really get in the sim. I've been really lucky to go to incredible simulators recently that have areas where you get out of the sim and you sit on a sofa to reflect, and now I can appreciate it, because when you're in a sim rig, you never really get that mentality. Now, if you have a look at the side-by-side footage here, I want to show you this as like the ultimate comparison of is Gran Turismo realistic? Now, obviously slightly different exposure settings on the camera on the right hand side, but you can see just how much harder I'm driving the car in Gran Turismo. Look at the lock I put on that wheel in Gran Turismo compared to what I do in real life, and how gentle I am in real life. Now, I'm hitting purple sectors in GT, but again, I'm applying mad lock. I'm not driving, it might be fast in Gran Turismo terms, but I'm not driving smoothly. Like, there's no real punishment in certain cars in Gran Turismo to not driving them smoothly. Like, sometimes you want to hear the tyres squealing to the maximum to know you're at maximum like use of the tyres, whereas that would be more alarming in the real life driving on the right hand side. Now, what's interesting is that the lap time I did earlier was about a 1:06, so it was about 6 seconds off what I was able to do in the sim, maybe 7 seconds off, so you do a 58.6 there. But because I know this track inside out from Gran Turismo, I'm not intimidated. I'm not afraid when I'm driving in real life, and this is maybe the biggest advantage of doing Gran Turismo, and this is why maybe we really can call Gran Turismo the real driving simulator, because I can tell you, my first time driving at Brands Hatch, I was overtaking cars, I was overtaking powerful cars, we were doing good lap times, and I was not afraid. I wasn't afraid to hit the curbs. I wasn't afraid to go deep into the hairpins, because I've done it hundreds and thousands of times before in the sim, and I understand broadly what the physics are going to do. And that's a massive advantage of GT7. And by the way, it's worth saying, I am going to be running my very own sim racing track day. So this is, I'm not sure it's ever been done in the world before, and we're doing it in the UK first. I'll put a link in the description. If you want to do this, if you want to take your car to a track in the UK, I've booked out a circuit called Castle Combe, and hopefully if you can make it, please come along. If you're not in the UK, please share the link to your mates in the UK or on the forums, because we'd love to make it international as well. And I'd love to hear from more people who have done, you know, maybe a lot of sim racing, maybe a bit of sim racing, but basically have done some sim racing and then taking a car to a track. I'd love to have more conversations with people like you on what the differences are, what's missing, what's similar. Did you also not feel intimidated? Did you also feel super comfortable on the track? Have you also maybe found a new hobby? And when we ask the question, is Gran Turismo 7 realistic? The answer for me, having done this, what you've just seen on screen, is a resounding yes. Gran Turismo is incredibly realistic. I know Brands Hatch Indy circuit like the back of my hand, and I'd never driven it before until this day. Like, it's almost like in the Matrix when they, you know, you learn the programs by putting in that disc and then you just learn it. I've learnt Brands Hatch Indy like the back of my hand by doing that. So let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think Gran Turismo is the real ultimate whatever driving simulator? Is it realistic? And also, if you want to do this yourself, check out the link and come join me on the track day. I would love to see you there, and I'll see you in the next video.